I'm getting pretty good at this now. This is a recording. This is a recording. The good news is that we will be live. Kayla will not be with us when we're live because she's going to be busy with a new baby. Very excited about that. So if you think this is recorded, it is. That's what we're going to do. But it's Mindset
If this
Monday.
looks like we're in the same clothes as last week.
That's because we are. And in our world, this is all done in one day. In fact, within an hour or so. So we are in the same clothes. You'll notice that I still don't have my necklace back for my mom. So anyway, but it's Mindset Monday. So if you are here to start your week in the right mindset, you are in the right place. Kayla, what is our quote for today?
Okay, our quote for today comes from Crystal Meadows, and it is, question everything, even your assumptions.
So I love this. And you know what else I love? I love her name.
It's
Crystal
very
Meadows,
peaceful.
right?
She
Doesn't that
sounds like
just
she should be
sound
writing
very
mindset
zen?
quotes.
I know, right? Like literally, she feel like this feels completely in alignment. Question everything, even your own assumptions. I would go so far as to say question everything, especially my own assumptions.
Yes. So what this brings to mind is actually the Mindset Monday that we had live today, where we were talking about the difference between your intuitive
Mm.
feelings and your ego feelings. And we talked about how your intuitive feelings come from your subconscious, which has been imprinted with all your memories of your past. But furthermore than that, your like default operating system typically is in place by age 7 and is formed by the people around you, mostly your parents and caregivers during that time. And you had brought up how when you first started getting into some of this mindset work, like you felt kind of a deep resistance against it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of highlights to me this why it's so important to question your own assumptions, because they can be coming from a place where even though it feels so real and true and right, it may be coming from a place that's no longer serving you. And it may be time to put a little curiosity around that and explore that a little further and see if it's some paradigms you should work on shifting in your own mind.
I love this. And you can pretty much count on me to tie it back to advocacy somehow, right? Because I'm already thinking about how really it's interesting to me that as professionals who've jumped into this world of advocacy, we get really curious in the world of healthcare pretty regularly, right? We challenge the norms. We look for clarification. We, get really curious about, well, why is this happening? And why, we don't necessarily just accept, well, this is how it's always been done, right? So
Right.
intuitively, we generally do this work. So I love the idea of turning it again on ourselves and applying that curiosity and um, willingness to explore and challenge ourselves in the same way that daily, I'm going to say, I feel pretty bold. I'm going to say daily, we challenge the healthcare system and its operations daily in this way. Can we also challenge ourselves this way? I love it
Because
because
I'm
it's
going to go so
hard.
far to say, if you're tuning in on this, you are working on yourself and looking for some personal growth. And if you're not growing, you're dying, right? I mean, stagnation
Yeah.
is not, it's not the name of the game here. And it's okay to have, an assumption that things have changed and now it's no longer serving you, or it's no longer accurate, or you've been, you've been provided new information and you've got to figure out a way to make that work. And that's okay. And that's expected. And it doesn't it doesn't mean that was anything wrong with you, or that you've made a mistake or some sort. Like, this is just, that's life. Like, you start off with what you've been given through your childhood, and then you keep moving forward and you challenge those assumptions, and that's how you grow. And it's not anything to shame yourself for not just having it right in the first place.
Right. Which is also something I think that is not uncommon, is that at least me, I'm going to speak for myself. I sometimes think that I'm supposed to know things that there's really no way for me to have known them. Sometimes I have this voice in my head that says, well, you should have known that. When there's really no grounds. Like, how would I have known that
Right. What
until
an
this
unreasonable
time?
expectation for yourself.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, let that ish
I
go.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Um, and allowing that to be okay, and embracing the curiosity to know that that's okay. Like, I can't, we have this grace for others, or at least I do. I think that there are some commonalities among us as advocates. We tend to have a lot of grace for other people, right? And for other, especially patients' families, they don't know what they don't know. And guess what? We don't know what we don't know either.
Right.
So something has to happen to trigger us into this, is that real? Or is that based on a false belief that I'm just carrying around?
Right.
Um, you know, because Mila, when you say that, every time you say that, this, I can't remember how you word it, but whatever this is, it's generally developed by the age of 7. Holy smokes! Do you know
Oh,
what an
your
underdeveloped
default
mind
operating
we have?
system.
Right?
Exactly. That
I
that's
mean,
that's the part of where, like, you truly are a product of your environment. So by that same token, then you got to let yourself off the hook if there's aspects of it that you don't like or you don't feel are right, or you want to work on like reprogramming or whatever, because you're not responsible for the way it was put together in the first place.
oh my gosh. I remember, man, I can't, I wish I could remember everywhere I read things. There was a woman who was talking about this very thing, and she said that one of her early memories that she was, I don't know, 4 or 5, she was in the kitchen at her grandmother's house, and all of her cousins were there, and it was a big family event, and the older kids were going to go to a movie, and she was young, she was 4 or 5, and she said that she was told when she said she wanted to go to the movie with the older kids, she was told, oh, no, no, honey, it's for the older kids, it's for the big kids, it's not for the little kids, like, you. And as an adult, she said, I remember that moment because ever since then, I have always felt like I was not old enough. And that is the lens that for many, many years, even as an adult, she brought with her, and always felt that she wasn't mature enough. She wasn't responsible enough. Like all of the things that went along with not being old enough when you're 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's the message, and that's what she carried with her. And to speak to what you're talking about, absolutely, she was 5. So as a 35-year-old woman, it's okay for her to be like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me anymore,
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So I love that that idea of letting myself off of the hook for not knowing in this part of my subconscious that's still 5, 6, 7 years old, right? Like what was I supposed to do with that information when I was that age? You,
Right.
you know, we don't know what to do with it. We just store it, and that's the message that we take from it. Um, but when we have this willingness to challenge it, and really, I think I mentioned, I don't even, in one of our recordings or maybe in our live this week, I don't remember. It was about like challenging how I'm showing up on the Monday recordings, right? And like being okay. I'm gonna tell a little bit more personal stuff here. My mom never came out. This is the honest truth. She'd be horrified if she knew I was telling this story, but she never, I don't remember her ever to this day coming out of her bedroom without a full face of makeup and her hair done. Okay. And so for me, some of what I shared about showing up with a ponytail and my workout clothes and no makeup, like part of that really is me overcoming and challenging the belief that you can't
Hmm.
come out of your bedroom unless you're stage ready, for lack of a better
Right.
term,
Right.
you know? And that's a big deal for me is, challenging that. Like, that's not real.
Right.
I don't have to do that. I can show up with, workout clothes, no makeup, all of the things. And it doesn't change anything about who I am or, anyway, that's just a small example of
Yeah, but
how
that's
something,
one of those things that like, is ingrained in you from your childhood. And a lot of times value gets attached to that.
right? And
That's
words
something,
sometimes too,
yeah,
right?
that's something my mom is very similar, but not with her, but her house. So I grew
Ooh.
up in a house where basically you couldn't show any signs that anybody lived there. It
Yeah.
had to be ready for someone to show up and, take photos for Home and Gardens magazine, like at any time. To the point where, like, my mom worked full time and my dad worked too. It's not like I was, home during the day while my brother and I are at school and had all of this time to keep the house clean. It was, I felt like, and now in reflection, she could have probably spent more time with us, but the emphasis was on the house, and it's important to have it. And it is important to have a clean house. I live more by the motto of my house is clean enough to be healthy and dirty enough to be happy.
Ooh.
And that's that, like,
Hey.
finding that sense of harmony and balance between the two. Like, sure, I could
Yes.
spend more time, and I've actually had this conversation with her because she can be quite judgmental about it, and it bothers me. But for me, I could spend more time cleaning my house, and I could keep it in picture perfect order, despite the fact that a toddler lives here and a dog, and we live on a farm, and blah blah blah. But like at what cost? Like there's only so many hours in the day. So it would be taking time away from, well, first of all, this that I'm doing right now, taking
Mhm.
time away from getting my business off the ground, or perhaps taking time away from, the meaningful activities that I'm doing with my son. And I choose to reprioritize instead and say, they're done is better than perfect. The house is clean enough. The robot vacuum bumps around and eventually gets all the spots.
Right?
And for me, there's more to life. But that was something that it was so deeply ingrained in my like operating system that it took a long time to challenge that. And there was such an attachment of, if you're not clean enough, you're not good enough.
Ooh, right? Okay, Kayla, that's real. That's real. I identify with that a lot. Um, a lot, a lot. Um, that whole idea of, anyway, yeah, it, that reprogramming is hard work, y'all. Like it is intense. Um, it is challenging and it's super liberating, right?
Yes. I see how much good
Like
comes on the other side of it.
absolutely. So worth every little bit. So worth every little bit. Um, I'm sure. I've had these conversations with my mom too. And you know what I found out about the makeup and the hair doing? That literally my mom has said to me that she actually had some she wishes she was more like me in some of those ways. She was like, "Man, I used to watch you and you would like get ready in the morning, look in the mirror, and then I swear you never looked in the mirror the rest of the day." She was like, I watched you do that and I wondered, how does she do that? So literally, when you get to the other side of that, you find out that, things aren't always the way. Again, we were 5, 6, 7 when we developed these beliefs. And so there's so many layers. But I think the biggest thing that I personally experienced is that this actually allows me to have a really much deeper and more meaningful relationship with my mother, being able to, talk about it and have conversations around it without feeling less than or not good enough, or like all of those things that once I challenged that belief, it led me into a place of much more self-awareness and confidence in who I am, right? To be able to have conversations around it that really have have proven really helpful in my relationship with my mom at this point. So there's lots of good things that happen when we can do this work and get to the other side of it.
Absolutely. And it's not all about childhood and things that our parents taught us and whatnot. There this is a continual thing. Like I brings to mind. Um, I used to, when I was younger, I had a very strong stance on a very hot button topic. I'll just leave it at that. um, and then as I grew up, and especially once I started actually working in the healthcare system, and I got to see more of the realities of the world, and I kind of have this natural tendency to have, well, I can't even say I identify with that anymore. I used to have more of a tendency to look at things as very black and white. Now that I'm saying it out loud, that's the way my parents are. So that's probably where that came from.
Right?
Whereas now I really embrace the idea that the world is not black and white. It really is 10,000 shades of gray. And through that growth through my 20s, like my stances and opinions and assumptions and beliefs have changed about quite a few things.
Right.
So it's not even just like, childhood. It can be, 5 years ago, I thought this, and now I've questioned it and I've learned more and I've questioned it. And now I think this way. And that's okay too. I mean, that again, that is growth.
I love this, and you won't be surprised that I'm going to mention this book, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. Brianna Weist, I think I got that right this time. Brianna Weist. It's actually essay number 84, and if depending on when this recording plays, you may be familiar with this book. This might be the first time you're hearing about it. I don't know, but essay 84 from this book, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Weist, is titled, I may get this wrong, Learn How to Think for Yourself. And this essay goes right along with this. And again, to kind of pump up your point that it's not always childhood stuff, right? It can be anything. And that this essay about learning how to think for yourself kind of speaks to, and I don't know if this is something we've said in this one or a previous recording, kind of running together, but but about the people you surround yourself with, and how it's really easy for us to assimilate our thoughts based on that. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was a recording that you were talking about
Mm-hmm.
the study. But this goes into, how to challenge ourselves on our thoughts, on our assumptions, and really how to think for ourselves to develop our own thoughts and opinions and any of those things. So I thought that that would be a great place to mention that essay. That it kind of expounds. If this is interesting to you, check that out. It'll
Number
take it a step
84.
further.
Nicole's giving us
Number
homework.
84. I'm just so excited that I actually remember which essay it was. Because if you've seen some of these recordings, it's like I'm like, okay, I know it was before essay 60, but I don't know which one. So I'm really excited and kind of a little bit proud that I remember it was essay 84. So anyway, how about challenging our assumptions? Question everything, even your assumptions. Kristen Meadows. I love that. Um, I'm trying to think, what would be our call to action on this one? Like, what do we want to talk about around this one?
Um,
I almost
so
think
I
what
would
is the
say a
most
really good opportunity for this, if it comes up. Um, if ever you're, so I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people when I see, and I see something online, I like to read the comments. Whether it be a post
most
or a
times?
reel or whatever, I'm always in the comments. And it's like so interesting the various levels of humanity you will find in there. But if ever you see something that contradicts your thought process or assumption or
Ooh.
belief, ask yourself why you hold the opinion that you hold. And if you can't answer it well, then that's probably a place you should get curious and ask some more and start to question that assumption, because it may be from a place that's based on old outdated operating system that could use some refreshing to be more in line with the person that you are now.
Ooh, I
So that would
love
be my
that.
challenge
Yeah.
this week. Leave it
Yeah,
on the
I love
internet.
that. I love that because I love to read the comments too. And I think sometimes, Kayla, it's for that reason. I think
Mhm.
that I do that to challenge myself.
I play devil's advocate
Hey,
with myself all the time.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I do that too. I do that too. I definitely find myself doing that. Um, yeah. And like I said, I love that it'd be, you know what, it'd be interesting to me to hear from those of you that are listening, watching, replaying, whatever the case may be, to talk a little bit about, is this something that you have experience with? Like, have you challenged yourself? And so for me, I almost want to hear what's the silliest thing that you've challenged yourself about and then just been like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like mine with the makeup, right? Like that sounds like it's a small thing, but I'm here to tell you it's big in my life. Right?
Yeah,
And
well,
it's
I mean, it
a
sounds like
little
it was
bit
probably closely attached to self-worth.
right. And that's why I said sometimes it isn't just actions. Like that's how she behaved. But then there were words. Like there were times that, oh, you're not going to put makeup on? Like there's been lots of conversations around that, even into my 30s and 40s, Kayla. Like we've had
Uh,
these conversations where I've had to say, that really hurts my feelings. I feel like I'm not, like it's not like what I look like isn't enough. And so it seems like this little thing, and yet it shows up really big in my life, right? And
mhm.
so I'd be interested to hear if you have had that type of experience. What's yours? Like, what's your makeup story? Not makeup, but
What's your childhood
comparable.
trauma?
All right. And this goes back to a previous recording too, where we said, hey, trauma is not always like headline, CPS type of trauma, right?
Yeah, I will die on this hill that everybody
That's
has
right.
childhood trauma once they learn to redefine what that word is.
That's right. I wholeheartedly agree. That's awesome. All right. Anything that we haven't covered around this that you wanted to talk about in regards to this quote?
I just challenge you to question yourself.
I love it. So maybe drop in the comments, how are you questioning yourself today? Because there's always something I have to do. There's always something I'm questioning. I love it. So take this. take this Mindset Monday, go keep like whatever. I love what Kayla said before. If there was something in this that really resonated, put it on a post-it note, hang it on the wall, use it through the week. Tell us what's happening with you in the comments, or the conversation starters through the platform. You'll see questions like help us tell us what's happening with you this week and how you're keeping your mindset where you want it to be for the week or not. Where are you falling short? You need some help. Like we want to talk about that
Yeah,
too,
reach
right?
out. We're here.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. All right, guys, we will see you back here next Monday. Thanks so much. Go have a great week.
Thank you. Bye bye.